Previously, we showed you how to build a self-sustaining engine by modifying an alternator and connecting it to a motor, which produces free energy. The video instantly went viral, which led to a barrage of questions and some skepticism. In this video, we'll explain in detail how the engine works and show you more footage that clearly demonstrates it's not a hoax. Before we begin, we want to ask you to watch until the end of the video, as we need your help with this video and the previous one. Please like and share this video so we can reach as many people as possible and introduce this hidden technology to everyone. We'll explain why throughout the video. Now let's begin. Place the machine on a clear acrylic table. Many of you doubted the previous video's authenticity, and some of you commented that you wanted to see the machine on an acrylic table. In this video, we're going to show you many shots from all angles, so you can see there's no trickery involved. We'll be using a transparent base with the whitest possible background, so it's clear there's nothing hidden anywhere. Furthermore, all the shots will be uncut, so you can't claim they're editing tricks. Wrap a cable around the alternator's shaft. This way, when we pull it hard, the alternator will spin and start producing electricity, thus starting our electric generator. That should be enough. Let's start it up. As you can see, it started and works perfectly, no tricks. Now let's put it to the test. We're going to connect this drill. We show the entire power cable of the drill. And it starts up without any problems or power loss. Here we show you from all angles that there are no hidden cables in plain sight. There's only our transparent table and our Liberty Engine 1.0 running without any external power cables. How does this machine work? What about the second law of thermodynamics? Let's begin explaining how this new feedback system capable of generating electrical energy works. First, we have a single-phase motor with a plug and a 12-volt, 200-amp car alternator. We've modified this car alternator, as you saw in the previous video. Link above if you missed it. We've modified the rotor by installing permanent neodymium magnets. This will give the motor a much more powerful permanent magnetic field than the alternator's original magnetic field. We've also changed the stator winding, which will increase the generated voltage by up to 20 times, approximately 240 volts. Multiplied by the current flowing through it, this gives us a phase-to-phase power of 5,000 watts. That is, between one phase and the next, we'll have 5,000 watts, 220 volts, and between the next phase and this one, we'll have another 5,000 watts, 220 volts. In total, 10 kilowatts of power. How can a 12-volt alternator generate 220 volts? For this to work, we'll need to give the generator an initial start. The generator has two phases connected to this outlet. When we turn on this switch and give it a start, it will generate 220 volts and start the motor plugged in here. The movement of this motor, thanks to the drive belt and the pulleys connected to it, will cause the alternator to rotate, thus generating energy and powering the motor. In this way, perpetual motion will be maintained. Besides generating energy to move the motor, which in turn moves the alternator, there will be residual energy that will allow us to harness up to approximately 9 kilowatts to power something else. In this case, and since we only have 2 phases connected, it will give us a maximum of 5 kilowatts, which after subtracting the motor's power will leave us with 4 kilowatts. If we connect the other 2 phases, we will have 10 kilowatts. Can you take more precise measurements and explain them? Okay, to start this device, we will need the cable that we will wind here to begin generating the movement. As you can see, for the motor to generate current perfectly, it must rotate in this direction, downwards. To make it rotate like this, we have to wind the cable in this way. First, we secure the cable by winding a couple of turns. In all these shots, we won't cut anything so you can see the whole process. And now we'll start turning the pulley so the cable winds up. We'll wind it a few turns. Okay, that's enough. Now, as you can see, we have to put the switch in position 1. When this starts moving, it will generate a current, and this electrical current through the plug will make the motor start moving. Let's get started now. Let's connect the multimeter so you can see that it's indeed delivering 220 volts between the 2 phases. $226 volts. Correct. And now between this one and this one, another 226 volts. As you can see, the voltage fluctuates a little, but it's minimal. We have a voltage of approximately 220 volts. Now, to take more measurements, we're going to put this energy meter in a vertical position so you can see the results clearly. We connect it here. And this one here. Right now we have a consumption of 0 watts, 0 kilowatt hours, 228 volts, 50 hertz. The frequency varies slightly, but it remains constant. There's no current because nothing is connected to this outlet. And we're going to start by reconnecting the drill, which many of you have requested. We'll connect the drill like this. And as you can see, $850 watts. It consumes a little more at startup. $860 watts at startup, 1,200 watts. The voltage remains constant. And when we connect the drill and start it, the frequency also remains constant at 50 Hertz. Because the motor speed decreases slightly. As you've seen, the perpetual energy generator works perfectly and has more than enough power to run a drill or something similar. Why do you use a single-phase motor instead of a three-phase one? Many of you ask why we use a 220-volt single-phase motor instead of a three-phase motor, each connected to a separate phase. Well, the reason is simply that we didn't have a three-phase motor with a speed of 3,000 revolutions per minute available, so we use this single-phase motor. In a future power generator that we will create, which will be 20 kilowatts, we will use a much larger three-phase motor and 2 alternators. Can't you get energy from nothing? Many of you also say or claim that you can't get energy from nothing. We're not generating energy from nothing here. That's impossible. Here we use the energy that has always existed in the universe, magnetism. We transform magnetic energy into mechanical energy, and then through the alternator, we convert the mechanical energy back into electrical energy with very high efficiency. In this way, we obtain unlimited and free energy. Why does a 12-volt alternator produce 220 volts? Another question you ask is why a 12-volt alternator generates 220 volts. The answer is quite simple. By modifying the rotor, as you saw in the previous video, and adding permanent magnets, we generate a much more powerful magnetic field. We've also rewound the stator. This way, every time the magnetic field passes through a coil, the voltage increases 20-fold. Therefore, it produces a phase-to-phase voltage of 220 volts. There's a hidden battery. Some of you have suggested there might be a cable, a hidden battery, that the motor is actually a large lithium polymer battery hidden inside. As you saw earlier, we moved the camera around quite a bit, and you'll see it again later. And there's no hidden cable, no hidden battery. This is a wooden board, the power strip with the electrical connections, the modified alternator, and the electric motor. There's nothing else. Make a video where you lift it and walk around while it's running. Now we're going to show you another long, uncut shot where you can see the equipment working. We'll lift it while it's running and use it to drill a piece we have placed on the workbench in the background. Quite a few of you asked to see us moving it, so that's what we're going to do. We'll rewind the cable we'll use to start our self-powered generator around the alternator shaft. We'll wind it about 12 or 15 times. Grab the cable and pull it tight. Here you can see it working again, without cables or batteries. Now we'll reconnect the drill. It works perfectly. We're also going to drill a couple of holes in this piece of iron so you can see how it has enough power. As you can see, the motor can easily drill a piece without any problems, without any drop in voltage or power. We'll unplug the drill so you can see that it's not working now. And now we're going to lift it off the table while it's still running. As you can see, there are no electrical cables underneath. Our Liberty Engine 1.0 operates completely autonomously without any hidden cables or batteries, thanks to science. You've seen it. We're switching it off. Are there any hidden wires? Some of you mentioned that the blue and brown wires went somewhere else. Here you can clearly see that the wires simply connect the alternator to the terminal block. Why does the voltage remain constant? Many of you also ask why the voltage remains constant. It stays at a constant 220 to 240 volts. Why? Because once the system starts, the voltage generated by the alternator is sufficient to power the engine. This engine runs at a constant revolutions per minute, so any slight variation in revolutions per minute is minimal. And the alternator will always rotate at the same speed. That's why the voltage remains constant, because it rotates at the revolutions per minute dictated by the engine. Since it's driven by a belt, when the engine turns, the alternator turns, and the alternator can't rotate faster than the engine is driving it. Therefore, it generates approximately 220 to 240 volts. How does the machine stop? How does it shut down? Or how do you disconnect the perpetual motion and power generation of this machine? Well, it's very simple. That's why we've installed this power outlet with a switch. By turning it off, setting it to 0, the electric motor will stop receiving power. It will stop rotating, and when it stops rotating, it will stop driving the alternator. Therefore, the system will stop completely. Why don't you show your face or your identity? Many of you ask why I don't show my face in the video, why I'm hiding. Is that because it's fake? Is that because the video isn't working? No, that's not it. Obviously, I'm hiding and covering my face because I don't want certain companies to know my identity, as it could compromise my security. That's the real reason. Is the machine eternal? What kind of maintenance does it require? One more thing. Many of you say that the motion isn't perpetual, that the magnets degrade and lose their magnetic power. That's true. After thousands of years, the magnets in the rotor will lose their magnetic effectiveness and therefore generate much less current, but we're talking about thousands of years. Another point to consider is the machine's maintenance. It needs to be maintained. Every 6 months, the alternator bearings, there's one here and one there, the motor bearings, which also has 2, and the drive belt must be replaced. By replacing these parts, we'll have a machine for life. Can I buy one from you? Why don't you manufacture it and become a millionaire? Many of you ask me, if this works, why don't you sell it and become a millionaire? Can I buy one from you? Could you manufacture one for me? Well, the answer to all of this is that we can't put it on the market. Why? Because more than 60 years ago, this technology was patented by a very, very important oil company, and that patent remains hidden away, prohibited, and unused, hindering the progress of humanity. That's why we can't sell it, only share it and make it public. Otherwise, I'd be persecuted, imprisoned, and my life would be in danger. So you've seen it. We've done our best to show you how this machine works and that there was no trickery involved in the previous video. Now we need your help. We can't sell this device, but we can make it known. Help us spread the word by liking, commenting, and sharing it with as many people as possible. Thanks for watching the video. If you'd like to support our videos, you can become a member and subscribe to our channel. See you in the next invention.